What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Hero Podcast. This is episode 4, and today's episode is going to be themed around fighting games and how essentially they've become bigger than ever before. We'll talk about how Evo is evolving, how they're trying to expand, and talk about fighting games we grew up on playing that kind of shaped us a bit, and basically our favorite fighting game, each of us respectively of all time. So I'm joined by my regular co-host Alex Masono, and as you see here, a new guest here, and occasional co-host, Blue Jack and Ryu, whose real name is Brent. So call me the one. Me and him, I think, have played more fighting games than Alex has, though, because Alex was telling prior to this that he's only played like maybe really two that are, or at least two fighting games that are really his favorites or that he's liked, I would say. If I'm wrong on that, Alex, please correct me.
No, it's just I mean I've played Mortal Kombat, I've played Tekken, and I've played Soul Calibur. That's about all that I've ever really played.
Okay, so before we get into like what's been going on with the news, because Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection and then the Capcom Fighting Collection 2 and stuff like that, let's give people, I guess a better understanding of like our fighting game experience and background. Alex, if you want to go first, man, like you said, you played Mortal Kombat series, Tekken, and Soul Calibur. Like, what attracted you to those games? Like for your, I guess, in your childhood as a gamer.
I mean, when it came to Tekken and Mortal Kombat, I played them, sure, but I never really cared for them.
Okay.
The game that stuck out to me the most fighting game was always Soul Calibur, just because of the vast differences in the characters and like the weapons they use and everything like that. That is what stuck out to me the most and why I love Soul Calibur the most. And mind you, I have like no knowledge for fighting games. I just play them for fun. I don't know any of the terminology whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I didn't expect you to.
But when it comes down to it, I didn't really enjoy Tekken until I want to say it was at least Tekken 6. And that was technically when Leo got added into the game. When I started playing as Leo, that's when I enjoyed Tekken a bit more. But
it's like clicked for you.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I was never vastly interested in fighting games, but Soul Calibur was always fun. I want to say it was the third one that was the best, in my opinion.
Okay.
Tekken 6 for me was what started my more enjoyment of Tekken. And Mortal Kombat, about the only real thing that sticks out for that is really just the fatalities. More
And
so than anything else. Other than that,
okay,
don't really care for Mortal Kombat. Fatalities were great.
Yeah.
That's about it.
No specific Mortal Kombat game you like the most?
Nope.
Okay, fair enough. Brent, let's get you going with the fighting games that kind of like you grew up on and shaped you a bit.
Thank my uncle for getting me into fighting games because he started me off with Mortal Kombat. I was young as hell. Started playing Mortal Kombat 1, went around a friend's place. They had like different other Mortal Kombats. I played one and two. Played three as well.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, my cousins they had Killer Instinct. So I was always finding something new because back in the day they didn't have like what was it, like low punch, medium punch, and Killer Instinct was something else. I think it was like
Yeah.
QP, something like that. But I started off with those games. Then after that, started playing Tekken. Let's see, Soul Calibur, Virtual Fighter. Um, uh, what other games?
You
It's
got Street
other
Fighter,
games.
King of Fighters,
Yeah,
Killer Instinct.
played those too.
You mentioned Virtual Fighter.
Yeah, I'm pretty much all around when it comes to like fighting games since I grew up pretty much off of every single thing.
But you
Like
specifically said Mortal Kombat was the one that started it for you, right?
Mortal Kombat and Killer Instinct, to be honest.
That's fair. That's fair. And any particular favorite Mortal Kombat?
I would say Mortal Kombat 4 and the 64 because of how janky it was.
Oh my god, that was so jank. Yes. Wow, you brought back memories of that. Holy hell.
It was janky as hell. I just love it because of like the endings and everything. Like you can tell they kind of rushed and
Yeah.
made Mortal Kombat 4. Then I had to make a gold version where everything was kind of all right, but
Yeah.
um
What about the arcades? Like, did you go to the arcade consistently in any capacity?
Yeah, I played like the arcade version of Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, what else was there at the time? Oh, Marvel Superhero versus Street Fighter. At one
Oh
point.
hell yeah, that's a good one too. And the arcade scene, like for both of you, Brent, I know you and I had it. Alex, I think you said there wasn't really an arcade scene or arcade nearby you as a kid.
Sadly, no, not for me. We didn't really have anything major like that where I grew up.
That sucks, dude. So you missed out then on that experience.
Well, the closest thing you could have to an arcade would be Chuck E. Cheese. That was the
That's
closest
true.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Closest thing I had. Other than that, like an actual set arcade, I
Mhm.
didn't really have. If I did have anything like that, I didn't know where it was at as a kid.
Gotcha.
Then again, I also stayed home a lot and stayed away from the outside as a kid as well. So
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Also, real quick, I meant to mention some beginning before, and I slipped my mind. But basically, those that do watch this on YouTube, when it is dropped there, if you ever want to watch this early, get early access to it, check out the Patreon in the description below. And tier 2 and above get early access to this on the Patreon. So patrons will get this first there, and then it's dropped on YouTube later on. So when we record this, we're usually putting this on the Patreon like within the first week, and then put on YouTube within like the last week, basically. So some information we may talk about may be a little dated a bit, but nonetheless, it's still going to pertain to what's going on in terms of the topic we're talking about. But yeah, so back to arcade scene was something else. Like, I didn't get super deep into it, but like anytime there was like an arcade I could go to where it was like in a mall or a specific place, or like you mentioned, Chuck E. Cheese in some aspect, I was on it. My mom, I'm sure I drove my mom crazy because like anytime there's like if I had a chance to go to arcade and not just play a fighting game at home, I wanted to be there and just play with random people. Sometimes make a new friend, from different fighting games from like Street Fighter, Tekken, Soul Calibur. What else was there? Mortal Kombat, obviously, Virtua Fighter, Killer Instinct, Marvel vs. Capcom. Oh my God, Marvel Superheroes versus Capcom, just all kind of stuff. And what started for me though, that I mainly grew up on, I would say was Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat 1, like the OG, not the reboot. But also a very odd game that I don't know if either of you might remember, called Pit Fighter, which I don't think really had like.
vaguely remember hearing about it.
Which I don't think that had necessarily like a local like 1v1. I think it was just you versus the AI, but it was technically a fighting game in a sense. But like that was an early crazy, like I just remember Pit Fighter playing that a bunch on top of Street Fighter 2 and then like Mortal Kombat, the OG one. And then it evolved from there for me. Like I wanted to play Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 and 4, and then like I'd play different versions of Street Fighter 2. And then the alphas a bit. But I think as a kid, it was mostly Mortal Kombat I played a lot, or at least owned at home. But at the arcades, Soul Calibur I liked more than Tekken though. So I gravitated more towards that. KOF I tried here and there at the arcades and just in general, but didn't gravitate towards that as much. I really dug Soul Calibur, dude. I think was a 2 or 3 was probably the best, like with Link in there. I think it was 2 or 3. I had Link.
Two was gonna be everybody's favorite because it was on 3 consoles. And it had different characters on the different consoles.
Yeah.
Everybody would say the GameCube version was the best one.
And as a kid, I didn't really know about the fighting game terminology back then. As I got older and over the years, I started learning like what certain stuff is called. I mean, obviously, as a kid, there was like I knew about low kicks and high punch, low punch, medium punch, things like that. But more of like the complex stuff like footsies and trying to think of another good terminology with it. Deep Dragon Punch or DP, I didn't really know about till later on as far as what that meant. And certain other words I don't really use all that much, but I know Brent, you didn't probably focus on that either, or still don't too much as far as fighting game terminology.
No, not really. I just stick with the original. Cause I don't really care for 1, 2, 3, and 4. I don't really care for all that stuff. If it's
right,
low punch, medium punch,
mm-hmm.
High
Well,
Punch.
the 1, 2, 3, 4 is, I think it's specific to Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
more than anything else. And then Guilty Gear's got its own terminology too with its button scheme. I think I forgot what that is off the top of my head. There is a glossary of it you can find online, guys. Google it. I believe. What was that site? Hold on, let me check. Because I even have a command for it. There's a site for it, but yeah, glossary.infil.net. Basically like a fighting game glossary in a sense. With fighting game terminology is really whoops.
It changes depending on what games anyway, because Soul Calibur is
Sorry about that.
but mainly it's Street Fighter terminology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. And then but we've had like a lot of good stuff going in fighting games. There's many, like I would say over the past decade, well, since early 2010s, between 2010 and 2012, we've had, it's been rough for fighting games in general, mostly Capcom, I would say, but for the fighting game space, because it's still technically a niche genre, but it's getting bigger and bigger. I think over the past year or 2 years, it's gotten way bigger than it's ever have been. We've had successes like Street Fighter 6, and that's still going. Mortal Kombat 1 is in a weird spot where a lot of people feel mixed on it because, and I was even watching Maximilian Dude talk about this, where it's not as fun to watch, basically, compared to like Mortal Kombat X and like 11.
I would say
go
it's
ahead.
because of the characters.
You think it's the characters?
I think because
In what way? Just how they're designed, how they play, what?
I would say with the whole new timeline thing that's going on, like a lot of people don't really like where it's going.
So from a story standpoint,
Yeah, it's mostly because like if you think about it, this is like the third time they don't probably change the story or whatever. Because Mortal Kombat 9 was a reboot too.
right. I wouldn't say it's the third time. It's so if we're going off the original timeline of what happened from OG Mortal Kombat 1 up to Armageddon, that's the first original timeline of events, right? Then Mortal Kombat 9, even though it was called Mortal Kombat 9, but it was called Mortal Kombat, which dropped in 2011. That essentially
Second time.
changed the timeline for the first time, right?
Mhm.
Because Raiden's older self somehow sent a mental message or projection to his younger self to try and change things, and he did. Then then that changed things to allow essentially Liu Kang to become the new god that protected the Earth realm, right? He's the fire god, and he decided to, once he got access to the hourglass of time, whatever the heck it's called, he essentially remade the timeline in his image, and now we got Mortal Kombat 1
Again.
which a lot of people don't like. Which
right.
it's like it's even though they're trying to do something new, it's just you can't really please everybody. So
Well, that's impossible. You're never going to do that, no matter what you
No.
do. From what I have seen and observed, though, I feel it's more about the gameplay, because I feel that there's not as much exciting or engaging stuff going on. I've watched Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay from different people, from Sonic Fox to Maximilian Dude and other people, and compared to like 11 and Mortal Kombat X, like there's not as much like crazy shit or hype moments, it feels like, overall. They're trying to, I think, fix some of that, like, because Takeda came out and like he can do some crazy shit, and then they dropped their first expansion for it called Chaos Reigns, and adding Cyrax and Sector in there and some other characters as well. And I know some people argue that they're upset about some of the guest characters taking up slots for returning characters, basically. Like, there's people that are upset about that. It's like, all these guest characters, you know, from DC and like The Boys and Invincibles like that and other stuff, and it's like y'all taking away from people that want returning characters to come back, you know. But I don't know, I think it's a gameplay standpoint thing Alex, I don't know if you've seen Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay at all or pay attention to it.
Not much, really, honestly.
But like usually like there's like a fighting game helps people be engaged, and a fighting game sells because it's characters and I would say how it plays mostly. If you got a good roster of characters and cool ass characters, even if it's just one that a person can attach themselves to, then you're good. Because I would say a lot of people play usually one character.
Yep.
Or at most they'll have like 3 characters they'll switch between. Tops. They usually try to only maybe know 3 tops. Then you got those rare type of players who can somehow learn the whole cast, if not majority of the cast, and be fine. I'm like, what the hell? So I don't know. But then Tekken 8 has came out earlier this year, right? So we had Street Fighter 6 back last year in June, Mortal Kombat 1 a few months later, and then Tekken 8 in January of this year. And all of them are doing good. I would say Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 are doing way better than Mortal Kombat 1. And Tekken 8 is insane. Tekken 8 is insane with the engagement factor and hype factor and craziness that you can do in that game. Like there's like freaking fun moments all over the freaking place in that game. Like but Tekken's always been like, I think, a much more fun fighting game to watch in general. Because even when you think you like have your opponent beat with low health, they can easily come back and maybe not necessarily infinite combo you, but like just get into a combo string that brings them back where you can't really hit them.
Yep.
And it's just so back and forth, and I love that about Tekken. And EVO, we just had, I think our EVO 2024, at least in the US, was probably the best and biggest EVO ever. We had some returning older games, like we had Street Fighter Third Strike make a comeback, and like it had the biggest amount of entries ever, I believe. We had the announcement of Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection back in June, and Nintendo Direct of all places or things out of nowhere. We thought that was impossible.
Of anything, like there was nothing, like no hint, no nothing online saying, "Hey, this is gonna come out, that's gonna come out." It was always nothing on both sides.
And for those that don't know, like the Versus series of Capcom, like essentially in official capacity was lost to time in a sense. Like we didn't think Marvel was gonna come back. I mean, I even like helped out with Maximilian Dude's, awareness campaign in a sense about to bring back Marvel, right? They did like a couple years ago on Twitter and social media and whatnot. And Brayton, you helped out with that too. And like it's crazy because like the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Not necessarily from a gameplay standpoint, just a visual. Like people, that game is like, ugh. And then, but now you got Maximilian Dude, who's essentially put a lot of resources, money, and effort into making a mod that gives it a visual overhaul and makes a few minor, gameplay adjustments too, but nothing really like that's supposed to be hurtful to the game. It's supposed to make it better overall. With the modders he's working with in Paint, and that's exciting. The fact we got that coming back, and then it's dropping at this time. I think on September 12th, 10 days. Well, at the time we're recording, 10 days from now. Like includes a lot, and then out of nowhere, we at the recent Nintendo Direct we got Capcom Fighting Collection 2, which includes a bunch of amazing games. Brent, you're excited for Power Stone coming back?
Yes, Power Stone, Project Justice, Plasma Sword is a good one as well. Okay, I have all of those on disc. All of those still on disc, and I'm just glad that everybody can actually now be able to play these games because it was lost in time.
Yeah, they were in official capacity. Yeah, the only other way you can play these games is through Fightcade.
Yeah, and I'm just glad people can actually play it now.
Power Stone 2, like Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2, like freaking CVS 1 and 2. Like the only other, I think CVS 1 and 2, the last thing they came out on was the PS3. Like some of these did come out on the PS3 and Xbox 360, but and aside from that though, I think it was Dreamcast for some of these games, and
on the PSP.
PSP as well. Yeah, thank you. It's been a long time though. It's been like over a decade. I mean, we did have the 30th anniversary collection, which included Third Strike, but that version is not as good as the online edition version that came on the PS3 and 360, I think. So it's just wonderful that they're bringing this back. Capcom said they want to bring their retro fighting games back. Alex, I know you say you didn't play a lot of these, but like, what do you think about that though? Do you like that they're bringing back these old games to preserve them, and like they're adding rollback netcode, which basically means they're adding good online play and adding some quality life features?
I mean, just the fact that they're bringing the older games back is fantastic to try and preserve them, because I know it's not fighting game related, but it's the
Right.
same thing as what Capcom just did for the originals for 1, 2, and 3 of Resident Evil.
Right.
They brought them back, like the PC ports in a way, to GOG.
Yeah.
Like I think 3 isn't released yet, but at least by the time of this recording, I don't fully remember because I have them a different way. Anyways,
Yeah.
they're bringing back all 3 originals and putting them on GOG so that they are forever preserved there,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. Like the fact that
Mhm.
companies are trying to bring back the older games and have them preserved in a way that people can still play them is what companies should be doing,
Yeah.
but not a lot of them are doing that.
No.
And
Capcom is definitely one of the ones that's a standout.
Yeah, and it's hurting them a bit because now you have people that's going through emulation, that's
Mhm.
going through illegal ways, in a sense, to obtain the games and play them. And you can't, and there's like not a lot to do because that's the only way they can do that,
Right.
is doing that. But if they were to take the originals, somehow get it working again, or even just remaster it in a way, in a sense,
Mhm.
remaster it to just update the polygons a bit, just a bit,
Yeah.
and bring it to newer gens and everything like that, or even putting it on PC and everything. It updates
Yeah.
all of that and it preserves the older games. Granted, yes, they can fix a few bugs that were found in the original and make sure that they don't happen in the remasters to where
Yeah.
they updated the graphics, but they can still preserve the games. And the fact that they're doing that for a lot of games now, like a lot of the fighting games in a sense, the older ones, is
Mhm.
fantastic.
I agree, and they are adding some quality life stuff to them. Like I think these are arcade versions that were not released on console that we're getting these both for collections respectively. Like I think all of them, if not a lot of them, are the arcade versions or certain versions, because there are certain characters that are in there. Like I think Cyber Akuma is in one of the games that wasn't in there before. I forgot which one. As part of I think the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. But yeah. I wish Microsoft would do something with KI, like bring that back or continue that or bring the retro versions back in some way. Then again, isn't there a version of KI on Switch that is on Switch Online technically?
There's also a they have a rare collection that you can get on the Xbox as well. They have like the Killer Instinct games on it with all the other.
Oh, so they got the older Killer Instincts to the rare collection as well.
Yeah, they got that. On
Okay,
there.
so they already did bring those back in a sense, or preserve the older KI games. Okay.
Yeah, they actually did a reboot of Killer Instinct back in 2013 as well.
Right, I know they did a reboot. I was just like, I
older
wanted
games.
I wanted them to preserve the older games too,
like
in
Killer
some way.
Instinct Gold.
Yeah, so the 1996 arcade-only game, this is Killer Instinct 2 and Killer Instinct Gold.
Okay.
Licensed by Nintendo, manufactured by Midway. Sequel to Killer Instinct, the game is also ported to SNES, but never released. Later ported to Nintendo 64 console under the name Killer Instinct Gold, and the port was published by Nintendo. A digital port titled Killer Instinct 2 Classic was released as part of a bundle with its 2013 sequel's second season on Xbox One.
Gotcha. Okay.
Killer Instinct
Yeah.
Gold was also included as part of the Rare Replay compilation release.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, Microsoft, man, I don't know what's going on with them. They are messing up or dropping the ball with some of these connections, collaborations, whatnot. I mean, Square Enix is still, like, they got a good thing going with Square Enix. I know Yoshi P even said they're trying to double down on Xboxes. And I apparently read something, too, where I guess, at least according to Yoshi P and I guess other Japanese devs, not a lot of people in Japan own Xbox consoles, like the Xbox Series X. They, I guess, own PC and PlayStation mostly. So I guess that's what's maybe hampering some of the fighting game development or just games in general for Japanese devs to put their stuff on Xbox. But I don't know. At least when it comes to Xbox, though, they got KI as their main fighting game. Like, bring that back, please. Make a sequel. I mean, you got successes with Street Fighter 6, Street Fighter series continuing, Mortal Kombat continuing, Tekken continuing. People going to want to play a new KI. Like, come on. And then they're bringing back these retro fighting games. I know Capcom is. I'm trying to think what else could possibly come back. I know we've had access to the KOF games on PC at least, like Steam officially. We had those back, had those for a long time in an official capacity to play, which is great because you can easily buy those on Steam. I'm trying to think, like, is there a retro fighting game you guys would want them to bring back in some way, like remastered?
Why, yes. Yes, I do. A little game called Bloody Roar.
Oh, dude, I forgot about that. Holy shit. Alex, did you play that or know about that?
No.
Oh, man. It's not the one where you turn into, like, an animal, technically?
That was all been, like, experiments and whatever, and they got the ability to be able to transform to, like, animals.
Yeah, like you're a human, but you're essentially, like, you can transform to an animal, though, or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Little game called Bloody Roar I need to bring back. And guess who had that title?
I was gonna say, who has that?
You'll never guess. You'll never guess in your first try.
I probably won't, because I don't think that's Bandai. I don't think that's not Capcom or NetherRealm. I don't know, dude. Because licensing and all that and rights is a whole different story too, and that's a factor in bringing some of these games back or not. Because, you know, not impossible, but a lot of these games, retro games, it's licensing hell.
You want to know who had that license in that game?
Yeah.
Konami.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, Konami. Well, technically, Konami is a technical publisher of it, but of the publishers for the entire series, in a way, you have Activision, Hudson Soft, which is probably no longer around, Konami, SCEA, and Virgin Interactive. I haven't heard of Virgin Interactive in so fucking long.
I don't remember them, dude.
Ooh,
I remember them for quite a bit.
From the Super Nintendo days. Holy crap.
Also, I just noticed you both kind of matched, not color-wise, but tank tops.
Hey, this is us just chilling.
So
I just noticed that.
now, technically, it was the European computer versions, but they did Double Dragon 2. Golden Axe for the European computer version in 1990. Golden Axe, my bad.
Wow, dude, that's wild. I didn't know that. Okay, jeez. So you want
they have a list of games.
So you want Bloody Roar like back, like remastered or rebooted?
Good question. Cause they got a good cast of characters.
Yeah.
From 1 all the way down to nobody didn't like 4. So, I would say all the way to Extreme. Extreme was like the old, not considered Omega, but the Ultimate Collection. I can't say Ultimate Collection, but the
I don't remember Bloody Roar all that well. Like I played it as a kid back in arcade and whatnot. And I think I owned it at one point too, but I don't remember that cast of characters and how it played though. Besides, you can turn into an animal.
Still remember all the characters. I don't know if Yugo was the main character, but he was like the poster child of that of the game. But he was the wolf.
Got you. Dude, you know what I want? What for me personally, what I want to come back, just from a objective standpoint, that I think it'll be really good for the fighting game industry and the video game industry. Period. I want the next Virtua Fighter game.
It's coming. They Sega got too much pressure on them right now, and even Harada said something about that. It's coming.
Yeah, Harada said he wants it to come back. He wants a new Virtua Fighter game. He wants them to continue. I want them to. I honestly want them to remaster an older version. We kind of already got that with Virtua Fighter 5, technically. Like they sort of brought that back and they let it be free on PlayStation for like a short time, and it had a lot of players or not. So I want them to make a Virtua Fighter 6.
Yeah, I really don't make
Because
sure.
and then from a fact and objective standpoint, if we didn't have Virtua Fighter, we would not have had Tekken. Technically,
Yeah, 'cause that was the first one to do 3D, even
yeah.
back on the was it on the PlayStation? No, it was on the Sega CD, I think.
I don't remember. I just remember playing that at the arcade. Virtua Fighter and Tekken I first experienced at the arcade. So I
I
don't know what
really
consoles they went to initially.
since it was a Sega game, it had to be on like the
Sega Genesis.
something like that. Maybe it was on the Genesis first, but they were pushing the hardware like crazy with the 3D though.
Yeah, yeah. At the time, yeah, it was insane. Like at the time, that game was ahead of its time from a visual and gameplay standpoint. Uh, I personally love that. I don't know, Alex, if you have a retro game you're maybe attached to in some way.
So, I mean, there's a lot of games that I'm attached to.
Well,
that's
fighting
not
game wise. I mean,
fighter-related.
fighting game
But
wise. Sorry.
fighting game related, it's not a game, but a game mode.
Okay.
It was in Soul Calibur 3,
I know what you're talking about. I know what
Chronicles
you're
of the
talking about.
Sword.
Yeah, you create your own
If
character
they were
and look
to
at that.
bring that back, I would be absolutely happy.
Yeah.
Reason being, it turned the fighting game into an RTS as well.
Oh, really?
Yes. So you had the ability to do an RTS and fighting game all in one.
Wow.
And it was a fantastic game mode to play.
I must have
loved
forgot about
the
that game
hell-
mode.
I loved the hell out of it. You
Yeah.
created
Yeah.
your own character, you chose the fighting style you wanted to go with.
Yeah.
I always chose Nightmare, but that's just because I love Nightmare as a character.
Right.
Either Nightmare or Siegfried, depending on who I was feeling fancy for at the time
Yeah.
for killing shit.
Yeah.
But Chronicles of the Sword was a game mode that added RTS elements to a fighting game. You would
Mhm.
you would become a commander of Kingdom's army, basically.
Hmm.
You would have units you could put out into like towers or like just on the field,
Yeah.
and you would have to go out and protect your towers and your home base, or take the enemies as well. Now, the enemy also sent out units as well that you could do in a typical battle. Now,
Yeah.
mind you, it was better to fight them on the field, because
Right.
if you fought them in a tower and you lost that tower, and you would now have to go back and claim it.
Wow.
So it was an
Okay.
entire like RTS setup in a fighting game. It was one of the best game modes I have ever played in a fighting game. It was so
Mhm.
much fucking fun.
I think I know why. I probably if you forgot or didn't know about that. I don't think I ever owned Soul Calibur 3. I think I played it usually at arcade or a friend's house.
Yeah, the Chronicles of the Sword was so fucking good.
Mhm.
I enjoyed every second of it. If they
Yeah.
brought that back
Yeah.
into a Soul Calibur, like one of the newer ones, I would
Mhm.
absolutely buy it to play it.
And
Absolutely.
then a Soul Calibur game I really love too, and might have arguably been my other favorite, is Soul Calibur 4. And that was partially because of Darth Vader and Starkiller in there. They were a lot of fun, but also just the way that game played overall. Online was kind of trash, but still fun.
Yeah, it was starting
and-
off. You know how that was.
Yeah.
PlayStation 3 and all that.
And then Soul Calibur 6, I would say the last one that got released is probably my other really up there favorite of mine. It's like it's a lot of fun too. It's just unfortunate that it didn't sell very well. And I think the creator of Soul Calibur, when he worked on it, like that was essentially his last hurrah at attempting to try and get Soul Calibur series still alive and going. And since it didn't sell well, we're probably never going to see another Soul Calibur game again. At least not a new entry. I don't know if we'll ever get a remaster of some kind, or they want some of the older versions brought back, like how Capcom's doing with theirs. I don't know. That's up to Bandai Namco, I think, at the end of the day.
Mostly
but-
Dorado, to be honest.
You think so? Because I don't know if he's got control over Soul Calibur series all that much influence. Because he's mainly attached to Tekken, right?
Yeah,
So
but
I
I
don't
think he said something about him being in the fighting game division that he had like he said something about like how people will usually continue playing the game if they like have some type of interest in it.
Yeah.
So like I would say what happened with Soul Calibur was it started to I can't say get all these guest characters, but I would say it just felt kind of lackluster after I would say maybe 5.
Well, 5 pissed a lot of people off. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. 5, it even pissed me off. I was confused as shit why they, like, story wise how they did it, and the characters, like, they brought these new characters in here. They didn't have, and like the roster size I think was the smallest of the entire series.
And they
Uh,
tried to do stuff with like the other characters, like Keelik.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think they tried
Um,
to kill Keelik and make him a weapon master or something. But
yeah. Like, I don't know what the heck was going on behind the scenes and what I thought 5 should have been the way it was, because that pissed a lot of fans off, myself included. And I think that left a lot of a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. So, like, when Soul Calibur 6 came out, they were worried, like, oh my god, it's going to be like Soul Calibur 5, you know, with some of the negative stuff. And they did give some good post-launch support to Soul Calibur 6 and made a better overall better game. The other issue was it had delay-based netcode and it didn't have rollback in it, so it's like the online is, you know, is what it is.
online was
With that,
trash.
yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if at this point, if we get new Soul Calibur or even remasters, I guess it's like not necessarily it's entirely up to Harada, but he's probably gonna have to be the one to champion for it, essentially,
Yeah.
within the company. I don't know, but I don't know if that's gonna even happen. I mean, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But it's still good that we're in the fighting game space. We're having, you know, more people get into them, more people learn them, want to be in the fighting games. Evo's growing, Evo's expanding. We already got Evo Japan that happens every year. Evo, the main Evo, which happens here in the U.S. and Las Vegas, and then they're about to do Evo France, and there's I think at least 1 or 2 other places they're gonna be expanded to. I thought there was gonna be like a Latin themed Evo, either in Brazil or somewhere. I think they mentioned. I could be wrong on that, but it's great. And like this year's Evo was the biggest ever overall. Like biggest attendance, biggest entries across the board. I think for most games, if not all of them. And they had you know, side tournaments for stuff, and like I said, they had retro tournaments. Like Third Strike was hype as shit. Brent, did you see that clip that kind of got famous from Evo, where I think it was this dude was playing Hugo, of all people. He was going against a Ken player. Hmm?
He won the whole entire thing.
No, he didn't.
He won E3. He won the E3 from Third Strike.
No. He was in the finals, but he didn't win. He was
won?
just like, bro.
He was playing against Chun Li. It was Hugo versus Chun Li, and he won that.
I could have sworn he lost. Hold on, let me look.
So I said I was watching the live Max channel.
I'm on the Evo 2024 top 6 results. Street Fighter Third Strike. I'm on the Evo site right now.
He did a move that nobody thought was viable.
Yeah, that's the name. Heyo from Center wins the game and wins wins over the crowd.
He did a move from Hugo.
It was against. He was playing against a Ken player.
Yeah, I think he was playing against. Yeah, he was playing against Ken. So he did a move.
But that wasn't the final match, though. I thought that wasn't.
What was the final match?
Hold on.
Like he did a move that nobody thought like was gonna be viable, because Ken did.
No. Grand Finals was.
Oh, shit.
I'm looking at it now. He was not in Grand Finals. It was someone named, well, I'll spell it out, ISSEI and MOV.
Look at it again. Maybe I'll...
Look on the
Just
Evo
say
website.
Issei. The name's Issei.
You say, okay, I want to make sure I didn't mess it up. That was not the Hugo player.
I forgot to look at it. I remember he pretty much he did a move from Hugo that nobody does. Went over
Well, he
Ken.
did, yeah, and he won the crowd over and it was pop, but it was not the Grand Finals match. And he didn't win. He got knocked out.
Did he?
Yes.
So if you win over the crowd, you pretty much won everything.
Well, yeah. But that
Who
was
cares if you
insane.
didn't win the actual tournament? You won the fucking crowd over.
Right.
You know
True,
how
true.
hard that is?
Oh, it's very hard, for sure. It definitely is very hard. But he had a great Evo moment. And like I look forward to more of that stuff, man. Like I'm gonna hopefully go to Evo next year, man. Like Brent, I talked about this with you. I think like if we can, man, I want to go to Evo with you in the future. If we can try to do it next year, if possible, I want to try and go. Because at least even if it's just one time, I just want to experience Evo in person and just vibe whatnot. I most likely wouldn't compete in the tournaments, but I just want to hang out, play some casual games with people, play some casual matches with people. But yeah, this is exciting. Now I don't know. Would you guys say there's any like fighting game fatigue at all? Even though like in terms of major fighting games, we just had the big three drop theirs, but they were far enough apart that I don't feel like it's really all that fatigue, and they've dropped DLC characters consistently.
I would say it's no fighting game fatigue. It's just like you have to win people over to your game.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I agree.
if you don't win people over to your game, then a lot of people just gonna be like,
Yeah.
because Street Fighter 6 is they're doing something good with the whole Terry and Mai coming over.
Yep.
So
And we got some great stuff to look forward to. We got Fatal Fury coming back. That's next year. We got the League of Legends devs making their free to play fighting game Tag Fighter called 2XKO. We don't know when it's coming out, but I mean it's making good progress. And I'm trying to think. I think KOF 15 is getting updates or something like that, but I think they're focused on Fatal Fury. I mean Street Fighter 6 is in their year 2 of content. Tekken 8 still, I think, in their season 1 of DLC characters. Mortal Kombat 1's about to come with their first expansion with some new characters, which is about to be season 2 for them, basically. So, yeah, like I think we're good, and we're like the fighting game community is growing and growing more than ever, and it's in a great spot. And I'm personally loving it, and I haven't been consistent on fighting games even in my own time off stream. I haven't really streamed any fighting games in a while, but I switched to being mostly RPG because that's what I evaluate as being the best thing for me to do and focus on. But I still love fighting games, and I think it's good for the industry to keep the fighting game genre alive, just like RPG, just like horror, and any other genre. RTSs, like, heck, Alex, I got to give you a lot of credit because you got me into RTSs big time, and it's kind of sad that there's a report not so long ago, like maybe a few months ago or last year, where gamers over the past like 5 to 10 years have become less interested in like strategy games like RTSs, and it's like, what?
It's because they don't have the fucking mind to understand it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because you have to create so many goddamn different strategies.
Yeah.
To go against so many different opponents. Like even if it's just AI, every AI in a sense will build armies and make things differently. You have to do so much to counteract that. Not a lot of people want to do that anymore.
Yeah, they want to turn their brain off and just. I mean, a lot of people just want to turn their brain off and just play the game casually, or just kill stuff in the game, or whatever have you, or they want to have enough action in it to keep them engaged.
Yep.
So yeah, it is what it is on that. But I don't know. I'm glad we had this talk though. I had fun talking about fighting games and how we grew up on them and how they shaped us a bit. Like I know me and you, Brent, were excited. We're excited for the Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Marvel's Capcom Fighting Collection. Sorry, Brent, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was talking to my son, but I heard you say about the Marvel's Capcom Collection.
Yeah,
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I want to play some Power Stone with you.
But here's the thing about the Marvel's Capcom Collection, though.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be easy for new people to get into because everybody's gonna be using meta teams.
Not everybody, but this is going to allow people to like. It has features where people can play casually, they can play ranked, training mode, stuff like that. It's going to bring a lot more people into it that can never played it before. People are going to find out new stuff, new team synergies, stuff like that. There's going to be new stuff found out about it because, like, I highly. There's no way everybody knows. We don't know everything with a fighting game.
Yeah, that's true and all. Cause like from what I've seen, a lot of people use what was it? MSP was Magneto Storm and Psylocke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just like, if folks like play characters that they actually like to play, like for me, I used to always my main team was it was Sakura, Akuma, and Sun. Like,
oh, okay,
that was my main team, and I usually played them because like nobody, like I play my characters like mostly tricky. Cause
Yeah.
Sunshine, she can be able to run along the screen and kick you from anywhere wherever she's at.
Mm-hmm. I always played Marvel vs. Capcom very casually. Like I never really had like a main team. I would just kind of just have fun around and just fuck around with different characters.
Yeah, like if you want to like try characters, I would say try the characters.
Yeah.
So this is going towards like new people that's gonna be playing it for the first time. Just like if you like Wolverine, try the 2 different Wolverine that's up there. See which one
Right.
see which one you like.
Yeah.
I would say because there is no wrong character to choose from in there. You just have to learn that character.
No, but you're still gonna have those people that's like, oh, these are the top tier characters, these are the low tier characters, and all that stuff. But I mean, I've seen people beat other people in that game with low tier characters. Like, just because they're low tier doesn't mean they're bad. Like there's no bad character in that game overall, in my opinion. You just gotta know how to use them and put them with the right other characters to make them, shine, basically.
That's exactly true. Cause like most folks just be like, oh, I see the top tier people using this character Sentinel or whatever. Like I didn't know Sentinel was that good until I actually saw people playing with Sentinel.
Sentinel is insane.
Yeah, like I didn't know Sentinel was that good with like the right synergy.
Mm-hmm.
So
for sure.
But that could be any character though.
True.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they would have kept Ryu how they kept Marvel vs. Capcom Ryu, like he can be able to transform into like Ken or the Akuma version. If they would have kept him like that, it would have been completely different. It would have been completely different Ryu.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So,
I agree.
I would say this is toward like the new people. Just try characters you like. Don't get discouraged if you get beat online or whatever. Just learn something new.
Just have fun.
Is that your final thoughts on this topic today, man? From you, Brett?
For the Marvel vs. Capcom side, like
okay.
Anything else, like Project Justice, since you can choose 3 characters, but their specials change depending on like what character you choose. Like I would say the teacher, what's her name? She's a medical teacher, so if you call her out, she heals you. But people can counter that too if they use their
I'll say I don't know Power Stone characters, dude.
Cause my team in Power Stone was Batsu, Soma, and who else? Hanada. Yeah, Hanada was the girl.
Okay.
That, she used her shoes. She kicked her shoes off as projectiles.
I'm just excited in general because like I never played Power Stone, and both the Marvel vs. Capcom collection and Capcom Fighting Collection 2 are gonna have games I either never really engage with or are gonna come back to and just like learn it all over again, and that's exciting to me. And just had the opportunity to be like, oh shit, like in a physical capacity, obviously, not just through Fightcade, just to like play these older games, come back to them, and I'll probably make content on this occasionally on my channel, even though I'm RPG focused. Like I still like to do content for other type of genres too, or action adventure, horror, and other stuff like that. I mean, heck, at the time it's recording, I mean, we're gonna check out the Black Ops 6 beta, at least give it a fair shot, see how it is from a gameplay standpoint, and see if it's fun. For example, I haven't played COD really in years, so.
Let me see if it's on Steam if I can go.
Okay. Alex, any other thoughts or final thoughts on the topic today, man?
Not really. I just said if they would bring back Chronicles of the Sword, I'd be so happy.
Yeah, that game mode.
That game mode
sounds cool.
So fucking good.
I mean, and even if it's like maybe a new fighting game that does that in some way, doesnn call it that, but it's like the same concept basically.
If it's the same concept, that'd be fantastic. Like I would be willing to try it out.
Yeah. All right. And then Brent, I don't know if you want to find what you're trying to find real quick before I wrap it up.
Oh, when it comes down to the games that's coming up, I would say Power Stone 2 is a great game for like just I would say how Smash Brothers is, but it's like a 3D Smash Brothers.
Yeah, it's I know it's like Capcom Smash Brothers basically.
Yeah, so I would say pick it up and just have fun with that.
Yeah.
What else? I already said my piece about Project Justice.
Yep.
Plasma Sword is pretty much 3D Street Fighter, but with with weapons or whatever. Capcom Fighter Jam, skip it. I I legit bought that game when I was a kid, and
I know about that one. I know because of Max, as he explained it. Maximilian Dude explained the issues with that game, so I know why you said that.
Let's see what else I said was coming out. Yeah, Child, Capcom versus SNK, and Child versus Capcom versus SNK 2.
Yeah.
Like the first one had style.
Yeah.
Cause man, like the style and like the intro to every stage was just like godly. Like I was pretty much blown away. Like you see a car driving and next thing you know it crashes. Then you see like a big explosion, and then now you find on the highway where the explosion happened.
Yeah.
So let's see. What else is supposed to be going on coming out with?
I don't know. Your brain is scatterbrained, bro. You're all over the place.
I'm pretty much like focusing on the Capcom fighting.
I know you're most. I know. I understand. We're both probably most excited for that, honestly. The Marvel vs. Capcom and the Capcom Fight Collection 2, which is understandable.
Yeah, so I'm just hoping people just get in there and enjoy it, and just like years later, hey,
Yeah, I want people to support those games, guys. Like, as part of wrapping this up, like, we got Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection that drops this month. At the time of recording, it's 10 days away. It's like on September 12th. By the time I put this up on like YouTube, it's already dropped. Hoping a lot of y'all checking it out, playing it, having fun with it. I encourage you to give it a fair shot, support it, because Capcom didn't have to do this. They spent a ton of money and resources to bring these games back, and I'm pretty sure licensing issues or licensing for these games is probably a nightmare, and they're doing that, and they've got another collection on the way next year. So, like, if you're a fighting game fan or you're interested in at least giving fighting games a chance, please support these games and support other fighting games as well too, not just from Capcom, but from Mortal Kombat 1 to Tekken 8 and some of the older ones as well too. Like, support them, get into them, have fun, learn them, try to make some friends that play them as well too, and you can get better at them if you want, or play them casually with your buddies. That's what I encourage you all to do. Give them a fair try and have fun with it. Try not to get frustrated.
Yeah. Always have fun with your games.
Yeah. That's going to be it from us. Thank you. And for those that watch us on YouTube, make sure you check the description out for different ways you can go above and beyond support. There's the Patreon. If you want to become a patron at the tier 2 level or above to watch this podcast early within the first week every month, instead of waiting until like the last week of a month to watch it. Or there's YouTube memberships as well too. You can go that route and support that way if you want. Helps out a long way. And just share it out, like the video, comment your thoughts on this too. We'd love to hear from you. And yeah, it's gonna be from me. So thank you both, Brent and Alex, for joining me and talking about this.
Yeah.
No problem.
All right, we'll see you next time.